So everyone knows the government is shut down as of right now, or it's a partial shutdown. Trump decided to not sign the budget deal that Congress and the Senate brings to him every so often because it didn't have his border wall funding. And he said, unless you give me funding for my border wall, I'm not signing the thing. So the government shut down. Now, with time, it's not only people who work for the government that's not getting paid right now. They're working for free, which is totally wrong. I mean, when you go to work, you expect to be paid. Your car note don't care nothing about what's going on with the government. Your house note, rent, whatever else you have going on, don't care. They want that money every 30 days. And the majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And that is really a bad way to live if we can try to prevent that, because you're one paycheck away from being homeless. So you have people right now that's concerned. They're not getting a check. This government shutdown is just about going on close to 3 weeks now. Now, the consequences of this particular shutdown is the programs that's used with the government. Now, we're going to talk about the low income housing program, or what people know as Section 8. That's being caught up in the shutdown as of now. So they put out a report that over 1,000 contracts have expired and landlords aren't getting paid right now. Now, they have money in the reserves as part of the program for emergency repairs, etc. But as this continues to go on, landlords state that evictions may start happening for people that are on housing. And they said if this don't end very soon, you're going to see more and more people put out. There are currently 1.2 million families that's on the Section 8 program. And they state the majority of these families have children or elderly people, which is some of your most vulnerable in society. Now, they're stating also that not only will 500 contracts expire this month, more than 500 expire next month. And if payments start coming in by February the 1st, landlords are going to get very nervous because they also have a lot of bills to pay as well. Now, we talked about this for a long time, at least within the Black community. Housing, and we'll do another video on the other channel about food stamps, but let's just focus on housing. Housing is a great thing if you just need the help. But what we should do is focus more on what our ancestors done. And they didn't have housing. They didn't have food stamps. They didn't have anything. They just got it how they lived, and they didn't have to worry about the government. You see, not only will it affect Black folks, of course, it will affect everybody. And we know the majority of people on these programs are Caucasian people, because they do not put any programs in place to benefit Black people at all. We know this. But a lot of people have different reactions to this. Some say this is horrible, Trump's a prick, etc. Then some say, hey, this is good, it's going to happen because other people need to feel what we feel all the time. Because the one thing about Trump, what I notice about him, he is part of that elite. And that elite don't like no one but themselves, even if they are white, right? They look at poor white folks as annoyances to them. They look at them as we could use them. And see, for a long time, people in this country have not felt the suffering that we have felt in the Black community. And if this shutdown continue, everybody going to be feeling like an N-word then. When you're going to be getting thrown out of your place, people being put out on the street. I saw an elderly sister was put out on the street recently because she couldn't afford to pay some rental payments that they just raised up on her. And they put her and all her things out on the front lawn. And people raised a GoFundMe to help the elderly sister, of course, and which is great. See more and more of this if Trump continues with the shutdown. Now, if you look at other countries throughout the world, as Americans, we get a lot of things that they don't get. If you go to African nations, you don't have no housing or Section 8 you can get. You can't get food stamps either. Either you have it or you don't. And if you think about it, the government and the way it operates, if it doesn't cut a lot of things that it's spending, which is unnecessary, because they can actually keep these programs open and stop paying for unnecessary wars, stop giving money to these foreign nations, because we need to fix our problems first, right? They could do that, but they choose not to. Get rid of the prison industrial complex in America, which costs taxpayers a lot of money. They could fund these programs. Stop fighting wars and conflicts that we don't need to be in, just so we can colonize and take people's things. That costs a lot of money as well. So they can do all kinds of things to fund these programs. But understand something, those programs with a person like Trump, he don't care. Trump not worrying about getting housing. He got his own. So he ain't tripping on that. What I'm saying is it's about to get real in this country for a lot of people in general, not just one group of people. And I've been seeing this coming down the line. I've been talked about the day may happen where you may not have a food stamp. You may not have a housing, because it wasn't always like that in this country. And they don't have to give you that. They really don't. I mean, we did well without it before, as definitely as a people. I don't want it to happen to nobody. I mean, that's a lot of people, for instance, that could be put out on the street. I'm not saying if they don't get a payment, they're kicking everybody out, because they said they do have some cash reserves. But if Trump keep this up, that may happen. Trump did say that the shutdown to him could last months, even years. Okay, if it lasts 6 months, there's going to be a lot of people being put out on the street because they're not getting their payment. And they got to put people in those places to make money. Let's call it what it is. You know how it is. This is a capitalistic society. It's not about morality and feelings toward anyone. It's not. Now, I don't really see, just me personally, I don't see an issue of go ahead and give him his $5 billion to erect his wall. Let him do it. I don't see an issue with it. I wouldn't sit up there and hear 800,000 people not working, not getting paid. I'm about to see people possibly get evicted. I'm about to see people may not get food stamps because I don't want to give him $5 billion for a wall. When we waste trillions of dollars in the Middle East, when we waste billions of dollars every year on waste, let him have his $5 billion. That's why I say that's so stupid to me. Let him have it. Give it to him. Let him erect it. Let him see if it work or not. I don't know. But these Democrats right now that came into Congress, you see everybody say Trump, 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 but he's only asking for one thing. He's not even asking for the $25 billion that originally he wanted. He already down to $5 billion, and they still don't want to give it to him because say it's not right to be doing that. It's not even about what's right. It's not right for 800,000 people not to be working right now. That's not right. It's not right for possibly 1.2 million people could be put out of their places to stay. That's not right either. It's not right that millions of people, which is, they say 38 million people, that's on a food stamp program for it to be cut off. That's not right either. If you want to go with what's right. So my suggestion is give him his money, sign the budget deal so people don't get in that kind of trouble. But you have two hard heads. Trump, he's hard headed and petty. He's not going to back off. I can tell you that right now. He's not going to do it. Then you got the Democrats, same thing. They hard headed and petty too. It's like people don't know how to come to the table and negotiate at all. It seemed that way. And it is refreshing, even though I'm not all into the Democratic Party, it's refreshing to see new faces coming in there and different people coming in finally. If you guys want change in Washington, you need to get rid of all those old heads. I'm telling you, every last one of them needs to go. I mean, Congress needs to have people 35 and under, maybe in their mid-20s, but you don't need to have these people that's been there 30 and 30 years plus, grandmas and grandpas. That's too solidified. They can't pay attention to what's going on in the country. There needs to be a movement for that. I don't see how people are comfortable with grandpas and grandmas running the country. And we got younger people with new ideas who are 21st century. Because if I was in that area negotiating with Trump, I would negotiate on a lot of different things with him. Like, okay, we give you a wall, but but I also want to get this, this, and this as well. Can we get special legislation for hate crimes for African Americans, since they're the #1 targeted group, just as much as we got them for the LGBT community? What about, can we get certain concessions? I've been negotiating on other things like that. Let him have his wall. I mean, my God. I don't think it's that serious, personally, his wall. They already got a fence there as it is now. I can understand you didn't have nothing, but it's already there. If he want a more fortified one, let him have it. I don't think that's like the fight to fight with him on, personally. I don't really think it is. There's other things to fight with him on about when it comes to public policy, but the wall is not really one of it for me. I don't see the issue at all with that. I don't. Every country has laws. Every country have, like I say, immigration. And I'm going to keep repeating this. When I went to Ethiopia, they didn't just let me just walk into their country. I had to go through their immigration. I had to get a visa. I had to be approved to be in an African nation. So if I can't walk into an African nation, then people can't just walk into this one as well. It's just ways to that. If you apply for asylum, okay, asylum. That's fine. You did it the right way. But people can't just come over and do what they want. That's just, I don't care who's the president. You can't allow that, to go down. But we'll see what's going to happen. We'll see what the Democratic Party is going to do about these 1.2 million residents. Like I say, it's kind of hard to keep saying Trump when he only wants one thing. The thing is just basically a vast improvement of what we already have, in this country already. So, they need to go ahead and give him his money, sign the deal, let the people get back to work. There's families that need to get paid. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about oh my God. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about Section 8 possibly running out of money to the point where they can't pay landlords and people will start getting evicted. We in this country should really consider not being in any kind of programs depending on the federal government, because the federal government is array right now. They're fighting each other, and a house divided will not stand.